Well, hello, Carrie. Welcome in. How are you doing this evening? Are you having a good evening? Hey, pretty. That's weird. I made you a moderator before I started, and it didn't take. Huh, that's strange. And eight? You mean 8:20 tonight? Okay. Ooh. Yeah, I made you and Pinky both moderators, and for some reason, it's weird. It didn't take for some odd reason. Strange. Okay, so we're starting into romance tonight. My genres are getting to be where I'm not having such assorted ones because they're all becoming the same some. I got a lot of romance and a lot of action and suspense. So this is 2 Weeks to Remember by Betty Neels. She's actually been a writer for Harlequin for a long time. I had an aunt that loved it, but I mean, this is in pretty good condition for 1986. Copyright. If only 2 weeks could turn into a lifetime. Charity's job as a typist in St. Augustine's Hospital certainly kept her busy, but she longed for something more, something exciting in her life. So when the renowned Professor Wiley Lyon offered her a job in his private clinic, Charity accepted. She was thrilled to work for the brilliant and handsome doctor and to accompany him on a business trip to Norway. She was less than thrilled to find herself dreaming of a future with a professor, a future she'd heard was reserved for someone else. So we'll start this for $1. And I did find the book I lost last week. I had a book that fell when I couldn't find it. ELC Vintage. So I had to add it to this week's. Well, my bat cave right now. I had to look up a bunch of stuff on bats. I went to put some books away the other night, Cranny. It was very interesting. Hey, CKG nurse. Nothing was there. Rattled, banged the door, slammed it shut a few times, hopefully hoping to scare it. So I go in there and I'm listening to somebody was selling on whatnot. They were just keeping me company. I think it was Lena. She's a golden pawn shop. And so I'm listening to her, and all of a sudden I hear a sniff. It sounded like a raccoon or something sniffing under my garage door, and that's what it sounded like. And then I heard it rattle. I'm like, okay, is this thing trying to get in? And next thing I see, whoosh, here it comes flying over my head. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. All this time, my hubby has been walking around the garage looking for holes, and it was coming in the front door. Hey, Jillian, so he come home that night, and I'm like, I think you need to check the garage door because there's no holes. I'm like, could it possibly get through? Because it's kind of like a shutter type, like it's an old one back here. When you just lift, there's no like auto door. So he come home and he was off Monday, and he got up on a ladder and looked down from the top of the door, and that's how it was getting in. There was a big enough hole up there, and he had to cut a board and stick it in there. Little bat brat. So we have a bat cave and we have a spider bell. So I'm keeping it. I told him, I said, who would ever guess that the bottom of our house would be marbles of real creatures? But oh my gosh, I mean, they have their purpose, but they're so ugly. And I try not to judge something by its cover because I know bats are good for things. They will eat mosquitoes and that kind of stuff, and they do have a purpose. I mean, there was one time there was a cornfield. Farmers were infested with this particular beetle. You can look the story up; it's very interesting. And they built bat, like they took wood and built like bat boxes, and the bats actually saved their crops, believe it or not, because they will eat bugs and spiders. But I told my husband, he can come in my garage and he can eat the spiders and bugs all he wants, but he doesn't need to come in there when I'm in there. He can wait till I leave. Then he can come and eat all the bugs he wants. Then he can fly off and poop somewhere else too, because I'm tired of him pooping in a square. He picks one spot that's got a square in the cement, and he poops in that spot every time. It's amazing though. Okay, so you guys probably don't want to hear my bat problems, or my bat shit problems, I should say. This is Mason's Ridge by Elizabeth Graham. It's a Harlequin romance, a regular one. It's got that and that in it. That's the markings. Usually I mark these type of books fair or poor, because like it's got a little rip right there. But the story's there. None of the pages are ripped. That's my main concern. Their marriage was like a business deal. Corey, hurt and angry when her fiance proved unfaithful, walked right into her marriage with Greg Mason, a successful British Columbia rancher. He needed a way to obtain custody of his nephew. It didn't take Corgi long to fall in love, but Greg had other ideas. Love is an overrated commodity, he jeered, a myth perpetrated by starry-eyed females like you. Did Marissa Mason, his glamorous widowed sister-in-law, have anything to do with his attitude? So that's that romance. What year did I say that was? 1978. So bad for being that old. Hey, Jess. Thank you, pretty. But I made up my mind that I've been killing spiders like crazy. They're ridiculous down here. But as soon as I get a lot of the books sorted and the rooms adequate, I'm going to have a professional come in and spray on the inside and the outside of the house. But when I looked up how to get rid of bats, it's interesting. They say to put up, I'll run this again. Did that run? I don't know. But they say to put up mothballs and things like that, and it deters them, and cinnamon and peppermint and things like that. But I don't know, you know. The base way to do it is to get, they say, a conservatory person, like a conservation person, to come out and remove the bat for you so that it doesn't get hurt. Because I don't want to kill it. I mean, you know, I know it's ugly, but it has a purpose. And if it's going to eat all the bugs that bites us, I don't want to hurt the bat. I just want it removed. Pretty. I would have holes all over my house. Hey, Caroline. Hey, Lizzie. But no, I don't want to hurt it. I hate hurting animals. But I just don't want it living in my house anymore. I want it to go away. This is Afterglow by Rebecca Flanders. You can tell these are definitely loved. They're used books. It's got a little bit of marker rating in it. I don't know who took markers to these and why, but whatever. This was a 1985. And if you're tired, pull up a chair. I'll put you to sleep, because I definitely can read people to sleep too. His first encounter with her landed Adrian A. Wesley III in jail. This was just for openers. By the end of the night, the Philadelphia Blue Bloods' cashmere coat was drenched in Kentucky bourbon. He witnessed one of Santa's helpers get glassy-eyed on purple passions. Ooh, it's got the passions word in it. And he'd asked a complete stranger to spend the weekend with him. Sandy Garrett had agreed to the illicit weekend only because she didn't believe the invitation for a minute. By morning, Adrian's brush with the masses would surely be reduced to an amusing anecdote, and Sandy herself would be forgotten. Might as well believe in Santa Claus as believe she never laid eyes on Adrian Wesley again. But wasn't Christmas time the season for miracles? So there you go. Nice romance. Aw, thank you, pretty. You didn't have to do that. Biggest tip I got so far on my channel was Esme came in and she tipped me $10 in my last sale. She's so sweet. I adopted her as my daughter on Whatnot. She's so awesome. She's got these two dogs, and you buy them treats, and she'll show you the tricks they do. Oh my gosh, they are so adorable. One kisses the other. She'll say, now kiss the other one, and it jumps up and kisses the other. I mean, her dogs are adorable. But she's such a sweetheart. I told her, she calls me mom. I told her, I said, you're my adopted third daughter. She's got a heart of gold, that girl does, let me tell you. Things that she does for other people. When you're in streams with her, she amazes me. The Vital Spark by Angela Carson. Some ink writing in this one. Pretty good condition for a 1979. Look at those red pages. Look how old that is. Look at the picture in the back. That's my little cheat sheet. They were enemies right from the start. Lee's encounter with Hayden Scott before she knew who he was a stormy one. Later, she was horrified to discover that the arrogant stranger was a friend of her brother John. John was delighted to have Hayden's advice about Paul Rewen, the flower farm, and Lee had put back on its feet. Lee could only see him as the manager of the huge Scott nurseries, getting ready to take over Polrian. She would never surrender to Hayden, either the farm or herself. But you know how these romances go. And this has got scrapes on it. Like maybe it was cut a little bit when a box was opened or something. I don't know. But there's a few little marks on that book. Hey, Shamir. Yes. Hey, Lou Big Fish. Let me see. Anybody come in over here? My YouTubers. Hello, hello. No, I don't want to sign up for YouTube TV. Sorry. Deal with the pop-up over here. I try to get in and visit a lot, but this week has been really busy over the holiday. It's crazy that they do a lot of incentives over the holidays because I can't be here on all the holidays. It's like Whatnot's like, here, we'll give you an incentive to try to hog your time. And it's like, I can't because I have family that I have to visit and stuff. This is Bride of the Tower. Would She Surrender Her Burning Desire by Sharon Schultz. I like the cover. Definitely well loved and read. This is the back of it. The battle-weary warrior had finally met his match. This is a Harlequin historical. Have a care who you call traitor, milady, else I'll be forced to judge you traitor instead. There's a little ink mark. With what reason, she asked. I'm a true loyal subject of our king. Are you? I know nothing of you, lady. It says, I know nothing of you, lady, but it's supposed to be no. I'm so particular when I read books because I always catch misspelled words. It's crazy. Not so much as who you are or the names of this place. A lady dressed a warrior's garb, thus uncommon, you must admit, rare enough to raise questions in a curious man's mind. He cupped her chin and slid his fingers down along her neck and over her shoulders before stopping just above her breast. No, this is not 1-900. A puzzle to entice a man, he murmured, or a siren meant to lure a man to your bed and render him your slave. Okay, that's enough. So there. Pretty. 1-900. I was so hysterical that one time I was listening to you. I was cracking up. Hey, Clara. Have you met this or that Utah on here? All right, Prinny, just leave me. This or that Utah is so hysterical on here. If you ever get a chance and you're on late at night and you want to hear a whatnotter that is truly funny, you have got to check her out. You tell her Tammy's Passion sent you. And whatever she's wearing, tell her I said she has to sell it. I sound like Trevor now. But yeah, or tell her to dance to the chicken nugget song. She is so funny. We ended up in there last night there she is. Oh my God. I just told him to come in there. No, I'm not sitting here naked. I just told him to come and check your channel out at night and have you do the chicken dance. The chicken nugget dance. She is hysterical. I remember the first time I went into her stream, she did a genealogy to see if we were related to her. That was absolutely hysterical. I have never laughed so hard in my life. And the second time I went into her stream, I bought root beer barrels because we couldn't find any. No, I am not naked. I have clothes on, but I don't have an iPhone. My setup is a cam attached to my I can't take it down because if I do, you have to see how it's rigged. It looks like a hair clip holding a Logitech cam face down, and I had to roll up paper to hold it because the Logitech cam doesn't have wings for it to hold it. So if I take it down, I probably won't get it back up again. So that's why I don't show my face when I'm on cam, especially because I'm selling books. Nobody wants to see me anyways. It's about the product. But here, I'm an old lady, see? I can show you my head. She's so funny. Oh my God. There's only two people that make me laugh that much on this platform. And that is her and Maya. Maya is a riot. She spends a lot of money in the Lux category, and she called her last show the shit show because she says, I'll never make the money back that I spent. She is hysterical too. And my husband and I laughed so hard watching her. I had to show him a clip because he's never home. But I am a child of the 60s, Miss Utah. And I love West Virginia. I have lived here my whole life, and we will debate on this with Massachusetts having the best fall because West Virginia does too. We have beautiful, different colored, rich colored leaves. Depends on which part you're in. I have seen Massachusetts too, and I'd say they're pretty darn close. Here's my fur baby. I was trying to find a picture of me and her. I have a picture of me and her together on here, so I can show you what I look like. Here. Here's a picture of me by myself. There. And I'm not naked. She says to me, don't show yourself, you're naked. And then this is my hubby spoiling my puppy. She's not like a daddy's girl or anything. But we've been married for 35 years. And I met my husband when I was 15 in high school, and I literally followed him in the hallway and whistled at his butt. So my joke to you, Utah, is he teases me all the time and says, you married me for my money. And I said, well, I don't know about your money now because when I met you in high school, we didn't have jobs. I said, but your ass set really nice in high school. So I guess you could say I married you for your assets. And he says, "Oh, you think you're funny?" I said, "I know so." You're such a riot. Hey, I come out of the love and peace era. The psychedelic stuff. Hey, love and peace, and let's have all this freedom crap. I was one of those children from that era. God help my parents. No, I don't think I could have handled it. I actually read the autobiography of what's her name. Why can't I think of names? See, I'm getting old. What was the girl's name that sang? Her sister wrote an autobiography of Janis Joplin. And man, whew, that girl could still tell some stories from that time. I was like, oh, no, thank you. I couldn't have handled it. So this is Strangers When We Meet by Rebecca Winters. And I'm going to read people to sleep because I'm a slow seller. This is a Harlequin super romance. This is the condition it's in. It's got some writing in it. And I probably put these under fair or poor because of the coloring. Could have been a smokers. It could have been just discoloration because the book is from 1997. I don't know. Strangers When We Meet by Rebecca Winters. Is it possible during Desert Storm, Rosie Armstrong's husband went off to war. He didn't return. She was told he was missing in action and presumed dead. For years, she couldn't accept that Nick was dead, couldn't believe it, but she got on with her life because she had to, for her child's sake. Eventually, she met another man and allowed herself to fall in love with him. She finally said yes to Zach's proposal of marriage. And then there was a phone call. Your husband's not dead. He was a prisoner of war all those years, kept hidden in Iraqi bunkers. He's coming home a stranger. How would you feel? What would you? I would just crap. Especially when somebody moves on, it would be, oh my God, you're so funny. But yes, anybody that comes in here, you have to check out This or That Utah because she is hysterical. You make our nights late at night. And I can't wait for my root beer barrels to get in because I ran out. I had to hide them from my hubby because he kept trying to take them. I was like, I don't think so. Okay, so the next book we have. This one here is called Roman Summer by Jane Arbor. Compliments of Hefty Bags. You can tell this is old. This is what the book looks like. Some rating. It's from 1981. Some dark coloring. She mustn't let her love override reason. Taking on the job of companion to attract a teenager like Cicely in order to expose her to the culture of Rome didn't seem like an artist's task to Ruth, especially for one thing. It meant meeting Earl Nash again and fighting her old attraction for him, but fight it she must, for there was certainly no chance of a future for them. Earl didn't want marriage, and Ruth wanted nothing less. I like these old covers. They kind of remind me of drawings that people used to do for covers and stuff, some art. Thanks for the follows. Anybody that follows me, I will get you back after the live is over. We're going to be on romance for a little longer. And then we switch to another category. So the next book we have this one is called Sent in the Clowns by Patricia Knoll. Oh, I am not a clown girl. But this is a woman that looks like the clowns. I guess that isn't too bad. Little bit of aging. It's from 1989. It's got some spots on the back. I always want you to know the conditions of the books you get. Life with him was no circus. Don't worry about a thing, Catherine rashly reassured her supervisor as the woman was rushed to the hospital with pregnancy complications. I'll look after your job. But who, Catherine soon wondered, who would look after her? Reed Darman, owner and president of Tucson Janitorial Supply, seemed dead set against her both on the job and in his private life. Understandable, she had to admit, when one fiasco after another only highlighted her incompetence. Iron Eyes, her roommate nickname Ironheart, Catherine amended ruefully, not at all fair when he is so capable of making her own heart do prat falls. Why can't it just say like pitter pat? So these start for $1. It must be freezing up or something. It's been happening on Whatnot a lot lately. Moments where people are freezing and skipping. Interesting. It's happened on my laptop too. Okay, so the next book we have, this one is called Never Go Back. It's another regular Harlequin romance by Margaret Pargeter. This one's from 1977. Never Go Back. For years, Celia had longed to meet someone special, one particular man she could love to distraction. But Guy Ryland, the man who had bought out her father, who had forced her to leave home, whom she had hated for so long. She wondered what he meant when he said it won't make any difference. It will all be the same in the end. It was as if he'd mapped out a campaign, his victory over her a foregone conclusion. So there is that one. If anybody, hey Dill, you were 5. You were just a baby. What have you been up to, Dill? Is my let me know if my live is skipping or if it's slowing down any. Because I don't know, Whatnot's been acting up a little bit. And people have been like, I've been in lives and it'll go slow and then it picks back up again. It's weird. Okay, so the next book I have, this is actually a love swept romance. I know some people have favorites that they like to read. This is Penthouse Suite by Sandra Chaston. This is in pretty good condition from 1990. Kate Weston was a feisty Jill of all trades who could fix plumbing and repair any car, but no adult education class had prepared her to face a hotel owner, Max Sorensen, draped in nothing but a towel. When she dropped her wrench in lustful embarrassment, causing a flood that soaked them both, the mirrored bathroom of his penthouse revealed her blushing in triplicate, at least, and confirmed her belief that the hunk with the bad boy grin could easily be a playgirl centerfold. Kate had vowed to fill her life with great adventures, but she never shared the fun, until one slightly stuffy pirate vowed to carry her off to his fantasy island. Kate believed in taking risks and moving on, while Max had silenced his private demons by building a world more safe than exciting, until he fell in love with the spirited gypsy. Could they bridge their very different lives by sharing Max's castle in the air? So there is this romance. Hey, folklore. Everything is in my buy it now or in my auction. If you want to see anything, let me know. I only go down in order as I'm reading. Uh-oh. No, I'm not reading. Just the spicy part, you bad boy. You took work off. Shame on you. Hey, Sparkles. You're not supposed to miss work. That's what pays the bills. Okay. So now we're going into action and suspense. Get these put back how I had them. And if you want to see anything, let me know. Just tell me the lot number or the book name and I will find it. This is the book I lost last week. She fell and I couldn't find her. Hey, Charity. So I found her this week and I put her on top. This is Battle Hill Bolero by Daniel Jose Older. And this is from 2017. It's in good shape. Trouble is brewing between the Council of the Dead and the ghostly half-dead spiritual and supernatural community they claim to represent. One too many shady deals have gone down in New York City streets, and those caught in the crossfire have had enough. It's time for the council to be brought down, this time for good. Carlos de la Cruz is used to being caught in the middle of things, both as the inter-betweener, trapped somewhere between life and death, and as the double agent for the council. But as his friends begin preparing for an unnatural war against the ghouls in charge, he realizes that more is on the line than ever before, not only for people he cares about, but for every single soul in Brooklyn, alive or otherwise. So this is my first action and suspense. Wait a minute, I gotta pin it. There we go. How are you doing? Thank you. I thought it was, but you know who this reminds me of? It reminds me of Michonne off The Walking Dead. When I first saw this book, I was like, there's Michonne. I love that show. Did you have a good holiday weekend? Both of you? I got Dill over here on my YouTube too. We had a good weekend. We had grilled food and we took some to our neighbor. I like paying it forward, so I shared some food with my neighbor. We had hamburgers and hot dogs that I made my special shrimp recipe. Yes. We didn't get to have barbecue though. We just had regular grilled food. Then I made mashed potatoes and corn. So it turned out to be a pretty good meal. And then we watched a movie, and I should have had a box of tissues because I get so sappy on these movies anymore. I think it's an age thing. But did you ever see the movie where the red fern grows? It's older, but they have a part 1 and part 2, and I'm like, at the end of the show, my husband's looking at me like I'm crazy. But it's based on a true story. And it was so good, about a boy that wanted hunting dogs, and he named them Ann and Dan and taught him how to hunt. And it's just, it's just one of those sappy animal movies. Okay, so the second book is called Trap the Devil. It's got a crease where you definitely can tell it's been loved. This is by Ben Coase. And I am discovering these are this is in really good condition, but some of these are parts of series. This is book 7 of 9 in the Dewey Andrews series from 2018, and I don't have the whole series. And at first I was going to put them together when I did, but then I had one girl come in here and buy a book that had 2 other books, but she didn't have one in the middle. So I'm glad I didn't have that whole series because she purchased the book by itself. So that I'm just going to leave them alone. If I do have a series, I might put it together. But if I don't have it and I post it, I'm just going to leave it. Let's see. This one here is an action suspense. It says some of the most powerful people in government, military, and private sector are planning to take over the reins of the White House and populate it with their own sympathizers and puppets. It's interesting this was written when it was written. Some of these books blow me away. They've already taken out the Speaker of the House, whose death was made to look like an accident. The President and Vice President are next in line. Are restricted duty while he recovers from injuries incurred on a previous mission. Dewey Andrews is sent to Paris by the director of the CIA to accompany the Secretary of State. But what should be a simple security job turns into a nightmare when the Secretary is taken out by a hitman. The blame falls on Dewey himself. Now, Dewey is on the run and out in the cold, desperately trying to unravel the plot back at him and a secret enemy at his heels before the conspirators succeed in their sinister agenda and kill millions of innocent citizens in the process. So that is the next action suspense. And I left and came back to my own show. Hey, Sir Kenneth, I didn't even see you come in. Do you have that happen on you guys' shows? Where your name goes out and comes back in and you haven't left, or people come in and you can't see them? I'll see people on my laptop that I don't see on my phone. It's weird. I don't know why that happens. Okay, I thought I read this, but I'm not sure if I did. So I'm going to try it again. Because I was gabbing. I love cookout food. Especially grilled hamburgers and hot dogs. They taste so good. I just wished I would have had the recipe for macaroni salad. I didn't have everything I needed to make it, so I didn't make it with it. But usually I have baked beans in that too. Okay, next we have the next book in the action and suspense. Now these are going to be bigger and wider books. This is called Left Behind by Tim LaHaye and Jerry Jenkins, a novel of the Earth's last days. This has definitely got discoloration in it, but the story's there from 1982. In one cataclysmic moment, millions around the globe disappear. Vehicles suddenly unmanned, careen out of control. People are terror-stricken as loved ones vanish before their eyes. In the midst of global chaos, airline captain Rayford Steele must search for his family for answers for truth. As devastating as the disappearances have been, the darkest days may lie ahead. And I don't see where this is part of another series. I don't know, but I couldn't find it if it was. I tried to put this, at least let people know they're a part of a series. But yeah, this is a bigger book. Definitely. Some of these softbacks are like the size of hardbacks. But I like them used. That way I can sell them cheaper so people can have a nice cheaper read. Next book we have this one's another wider book. Wash This Blood Clean from My Hand by Fred Vargas. And this was actually winner of the Crime Writers Association Duncan Lair International Dagger. The book was from 2007. And it says, 3 wounds in a perfectly straight line with a bloody signature that marked victims from every corner of France who had been murdered at regular intervals over the course of 30 years. Commissaire Jean Baptiste Adamsberg the chief of police in Paris, the 7th arrondissement, is deeply and personally familiar with the case. And though others were always framed and convicted for these crimes, including his own brother, the commissaire knows the true identity of the killer and knows the murderer died in 1987. All the more disturbing, then, is Attenborough's discovery one morning of a fresh murder with exactly the same profile. Stunned into action, himself a suspect, Attenborough must confront the mysterious return of an old and familiar evil. Hello, big man. Or no. Big man comes in here too, sorry. Big Go Dad. Goop Dad, is that what your name says? I'm reading from a distance, so bear with me. Oh, Big Pop Dad, sorry. If there's anything you're interested in seeing, let me know. And I can show it. I love these type of books, though. This looks like a good one. And I never read this one either. But it does look like a good one, and like true crime and all that gory stuff. Okay. So the next book I have, he looks like the Invisible Man. Not Flesh Nor Feathers. An Eden Moore story. This is what the book looks like. It's in good condition from 2007. And the book is about the disappearances of homeless men foraging through trash at night and nuisance skaters rolling their boards along the plank piers were not noteworthy enough to delay the city's development projects. But deep beneath the riverbank, the evidence of a terrible crime has been covered up twice. When a dam falters at a river swells, panic rises downtown, and as the Tennessee creeps over its banks, it dredges up death from its own polluted bed. 29 victims of long ago slaughter walk when the water rises, patrolling the banks, dragging the living down to the muddy grave. No one remembers how they died. No one knows what they want. Some secrets are never washed away. Instead, they are patient and they bide their time. They wait for the water to lift them again so they can prowl for justice that was denied them 90 years ago. But in 90 years, the city's shape changes, and where justice can no longer be found, vengeance may have to suffice. The city of Chattanooga is going to learn a terrible truth about the things the river can and cannot hide. And reluctant medium Eden Moore may be the only one who can keep this lesson from turning into a massacre. That actually sounds spooky. Dr. Love! Hey, Sudmore. Dr. Love, Peach Tea. How are you doing? I love her puppy picture. Her puppy picture's so cute. Well, must be nice not to have bills over there, Dill. We have bills all the time. I was going to say something. I forgot what I was going to say. I hate when I do that. It's like, what? Okay, so we find the next book. Okay. So the next book is this one here is more of a military. This is book 3 of the Threat series. Hidden Threat by A.J. Tata. These books are big though, like I said. I mean, they are big books. And this is 2015. And really, it doesn't have a synopsis. Why do books do that? Sometimes they have them in the front. Sometimes they have them in the back. But of course not. It goes right into chapter 1. So, oh my goodness. You authors really make me work. And if you don't read books, that's fine. You can use me as a resource to pull out your Kindle or whatever, and you can read that way too. Because I like people just to read, period. Don't matter how you do it. I prefer real books, but that's just me. Okay, so this is what this book is about. When Special Forces Colonel Zachary Garrett leads a team of commandos into an enemy-based camp inside forbidden Pakistan territory, the ensuing combat destroys his helicopter and all its occupants. After military officers notify his estranged daughter, 17-year-old Amanda Garrett, of her father's death, she is apathetic until they mentioned a $500,000 life insurance payout. But there's a catch. Before she can collect her cash, Amanda must visit Revered psychiatrist Riley Dwyer for counseling. With his eyes on Amanda's coming bonanza, Spartanburg SC bad boy Dell Dangers keeps close tabs on Amanda and the long hope for windfall. Meanwhile, Matt Garrett, Amanda's uncle, leaves the CIA post and arrives in Afghanistan to recover Zachary's remains. But first, he leads a daring vengeance raid into Pakistan that results in a clue to Zachary's fate. With hopeful evidence in hand, Matt continues to search for his brother as physical reminders of him are being destroyed or attacked back home, including Riley, who holds her own secrets close. The story alternates between thrilling combat scenes in Afghanistan and Pakistan as Matt pursues his brother's fate and attempts to complete a politically sensitive mission while Amanda races to uncover the truth about her father. So, when you see books this size, like if you don't, because the pictures are kind of deceiving. When I take pictures of a book, they'll show like they're all regular. You got to look at the weight when you go to buy them, because then you'll know the heavier the book, the bigger it's going to be. Because this is a wide compared to a regular size book. This book's huge. Just saying. So it's all about the weight for shipping. So this is Hidden Threat. Hey, Hallmark Man. Hey, Nicole. Hello. Hello. Welcome in. So that's how you know that I'm not ripping you off in shipping. Is that it actually is a bigger book. Because this book's big too. It's still smaller than that one. You know, they're like so many different sizes on these. And if you're looking for any specific author, you can let me know. And when I come across the books, I can say, hey, tag you in, and then you can do it. And I have a list that I keep for people looking for specific genres or specific authors so that I can keep track. This one here is an older book. It's definitely a library. It's called Burglars Can't Be Choosers by Lawrence Block. And when I put a book in as like fair condition or whatever, usually it's got like smudges or things on it. The book itself isn't naturally falling apart. It's just how, I don't know how you rate books because they're used. I mean, but all the stories there, I make sure there's no ripped pages. This is from 1977. And it says, Bernard Grimes Rodenbar really should have known better when the mysterious pear-shaped man with the elusive brown eyes and a lot of uncomfortable, acute information about Bertie and his career offered him 5 large ones to liberate a blue leather box, unopened from the East Side apartment that would have been a good time to mutter something about a previous engagement, but the larder was getting low, and $5,000 an hour is even more than a plumber charges. And what and you know what they say about a relative worth of a bird in the hand. Things started out simply enough. The doorman obligingly opened the door downstairs. The lock of the apartment door opened like sesame because Bertie was an old hand at this. You see, there's just no substitute for the professional touch. The big old roll top desk was right where it was supposed to be, and the blue leather box was supposed to be in it. But before Bertie could establish this, the floor opened, the 2 men in blue coats came in through it. Cause for alarm, don't be silly. As long as burglars have money and cops have mortgages, there will always be a way for reasonable gentlemen to work things out. Bernie had money, Ray Kirchman and Lorraine Kramer had mortgages. So Lorraine took the time out to answer a call of nature, turned left when he should have turned right. In the bedroom, he had found a body of the dead variety. And what did Bernie do? Like a rabbit, he ran like a nut. He bolted, thus rendered his bird in the hand worth life in the slam. Unless he could figure out who really dented the skull of J. Francis Fluxford and find a way to prove it, which didn't sound terribly likely, since he didn't even know where to start. But burglars can't be choosers, to coin a phrase. Then, when the appealing nutty young woman showed up, things got really interesting. 1977. Hey Maria is where this book came from, the year. So we will run it. I try to start my hardbacks out. Oh, well, thank you. I try to start my hardbacks out at $4, but they're negotiable if people are really interested in something. All a person has to do is message me if they're interested. And we'll talk. I read people to sleep too. I've done that before. I'm also a YouTuber. So sometimes on YouTube, people are like, I like falling asleep listening to you read. I said, you just go at it. So the next book we have on the action and suspense side, which is absolutely my favorite category besides true crime, is one that doesn't have a jacket. It's called Agent in Place by Helen McGines. These type of books I would like to turn into journals if nobody buys them. They have to have the space right there. And I can recreate those into journals. This is from 1976. Definitely was a library book. And of course, I wrote this because that's me. I've been in a bookstore for 11 years, so I'm used to this. And I had a customer come in and she says, I really appreciate you doing that for the ones that don't have covers. And I'm like, I don't mind. The Russians have placed a spy in Washington, and for 9 years he has worked himself quietly into the fabric of government and society. Dedicated and patient, he has everyone's respect. It is a plot where amateurs are the villains and professionals are the heroes, particularly a team of British and French agents whose job is to foil further Russian intervention. The story moves from Washington to New York to Menton on the French Riviera, where it concludes in a series of stunning revelations, dismaying setbacks, and breathless discoveries. That's what this is about. Hey, Funkin' Beer. Hey, if you ever want to mod, let me know, Hallmark. Here, I'll turn you into moderator. It's hard to keep good moderators in chat. I like having moderators hang out. I don't have to sit in here by myself. Even if the person doesn't buy nothing, that's okay. Oh, I gotta check my YouTube. Dawn! everyone. Hello. How are you? I'm glad you guys got to stop in. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday weekend. I know I ate too much as usual. Okay, but I love grilled food, so I can't complain. It was delicious. Okay, next we have. Oh, she's actually a good author. I've read a few of her books. But these books, I don't know what happened to them. Like, both of them in a row. Look at that. They got. Okay, that wasn't nice. You're supposed to stay up there. Why are you falling on my foot? See how bent they got? I don't know if somebody piled books on them or what, but both of them have a little bit of a curve. But like I said, I wanted people to know what they're getting. This is The Shadow of Your Smile by Mary Higgins Clark. And I always show under the jacket so you know you're getting a good book and there's no mold or dirt, because you'd be surprised, especially in used books. This is from 2010 and it's in good condition except for that bend. At age 82 and failing health, Olivia Mora knows she has little time left. The last of her lines, she faces a momentous choice, exposing a long-held family secret or take it with her to her grave. Olivia has in her possession letters from her deceased cousin Catherine, a nun, now being considered for beatification by the Catholic Church, the final step before sainthood. In her lifetime, Sister Catherine had founded seven hospitals for disabled children. Now the cure of a 4-year-old boy dying of brain cancer has been attributed to her. After his case was pronounced medically hopeless, the boy's desperate mother had an organized prayer crusade to Sister Catherine, leading into his miraculous recovery. The letters Olivia holds are the evidence that Catherine gave birth at age 17 to a child, a son, and gave him up for adoption. Olivia knows the identity of the young man who fathered Catherine's child, Alex Gannon, who went on to become a world-famous doctor, scientist, and inventor holding medical patients. No, not patients, patents. Now, 2 generations later, 31-year-old pediatrician Dr. Monica Farrell, Catherine's granddaughter, stands as the rightful heir to what remains of the family fortune. But in telling Monica who she really is, Olivia would have to betray Catherine's wishes and reveal the story behind Monica's ancestry. The Gannon fortune is being squandered by Alex's nephews, Greg and Peter Gannon, and other board members of the Gannon Foundation, who camouflage their profligate lifestyles with philanthropy. Now they're generally, I can't read today. Now their carefully constructed image is cracking. Greg, a prominent financier, is under criminal investigation, and Peter, a Broadway producer, is a subject in the murder of a young woman who has been extorting money from him. The only people aware of Olivia's impending choice are those exploding in the Gannon inheritance to silence Olivia and prevent Monica from learning the secret. Some of them will stop at nothing, even murder. Ew. Clark's riveting new novel explores juxtaposition of medical science and religious faith in the search for identity of the daughter of the man adopted at birth. So there you go. Pingy! I was reading Mary Higgins Clark. Well, I'm glad you got to stop. Hey, Masha. Hey, Mike. It's the same Hallmark Man. It's under Tammy's Passions with apostrophe S. You're modding. Oh man, I tried that one night. I tried to be in two sales at the same time. I can't do it. I always moderate you and Penguin or Printicorn before my show, Pingy, but for some reason it doesn't come on. I have to do it again. Maybe it's because they hate androids. I don't know. I like my Android phone though. But anyways, I had a good weekend, but I ate too much. Izzy! There's Izzy. Let me get you up here too. So what happened is, did he get it? Did he get it? Did he get it? I'm so excited for you too. And don't forget, anytime you guys are in here, promote yourselves. Tell what you sell if you're a seller. I don't have a problem with that. I love it when people do that. Because sometimes people will come back and read it and I could just shout it out. Izzy does custom things. She makes tumblers. She made me a beautiful light that lights up in my living room. I love it with a remote. They do all kinds of stuff. I even have a journal. Her husband has a burner thingy. What's it called? I can't think tonight, Izzy. But he carved a horse into a journal for me, and it's so cool. I love that journal. I use it for everything I spend on Whatnot. It's my Whatnot expenditure book. And hey, with the kitty cat picture, a Fost. Let me see if I'm still here. I keep leaving my own show too, and I don't leave. Whatnot's been really glitchy lately. I don't know if it's because of people's Wi-Fi's or Whatnot itself, but do you remember the old Chinese movies when people would talk but the words weren't with their mouths? Like the old Godzilla shows and stuff. Well, when my Whatnot acts up, it's exactly what it does. I'll do a refresh and come back and the person's talking, but the words aren't with their mouth, it's a delay. Or they skip, like they freeze, and then like a fast forward happens and they move real fast. That's what's been happening on my Whatnot a lot. But I don't know if it's Wi-Fi is doing that or if it's actually a Whatnot glitch. Because sometimes providers, you know, can be like that too. But it is funny. They're just talking and nothing's coming out right. Okay. So the next book I have is another Mary Higgins Clark, but like I said, it's warped. Like I don't know how they got bent. Both of them are. They fit like right in with each other. These are the only two books like that. So I don't know what happened. But this one here is called Where Are You Now? She writes a lot of mysterious type books. I like that cover. Oh, love the color blue. Okay. And then this is Mary Higgins Clark, of course. I like that picture of her. And this is from 2008. It has been 10 years since 21-year-old Charles Mackenzie Jr. Mack went missing, a Columbia University senior about to graduate and already accepted at Duke University Law School. He walked out of his apartment on Manhattan's Upper West Side without a word to his college roommates and was never seen again. However, he does have one ritual phone call to his mother every year on Mother's Day. Each time he assures her he is fine, refuses to answer her frantic questions, and hangs up. Even the death of his father, a corporate lawyer, and the tragedy of 9/11 does not bring him home or break the pattern of his calls. Mac's sister Caroline is now 26, a law school graduate, and has just finished her clerkship for civil court judge in Manhattan. She has endured two family tragedies, yet she realizes she will never be able to have closure and get on with her life until she finds her brother. She resolves to discover what happened to Mac and why he has found it necessary to hide from them. So this year, when Mac makes his annual Mother's Day call, Carolyn interrupts to announce her intention to track him down no matter what it takes. The next morning after Mass, her uncle, Monsignor Devin Mackenzie, receives a scrawled message left in the collection basket. Uncle Devin tells Caroline she must not look for me. Mac's cryptic warning does nothing to deter his sister from taking up the search. Despite the angry reaction of her mother, Olivia, and the polite disapproval of Elliot Wallace, Caroline's honorary uncle, who is clearly in love with Olivia. Caroline's pursuit of the truth about Mac's disappearance swiftly plunges her into a world of unexpected danger and unanswered questions. What is the secret that Gus and Lil Kramer, the superintendents of the building in which Mac was living, have to hide? What do Mac's old roommates and the charismatic club owner Nick DeMarco and the cold and wealthy real estate tycoon Bruce Gayruth know about Mac's disappearance? Is Nick connected to the disappearance of Lacey Andrews, who had been seen in his trendy club? Can the police possibly believe that Mac is not only alive, but a serial killer? A shadowy predator of young women, was Mac also guilty of the brutal murder of his drama teacher and the theft of his tape sessions with her? Caroline's passionate search for the truth about her brother and for her brother himself leads her into a deadly confrontation with someone close to her whose secret he cannot allow to reveal. That's a good one. Lots of questions. Hey, VJ! I love it when people come in here. I don't get to say hello because I'm reading. These are my people from over on the luxury side. They're into the Louis Vuitton bags and all that good stuff. AJ's one of them people. And Dr. Love PhD. They're so much fun to hang out with, too. We're over there watching when everybody wins. Okay. The next one we have. We are now going into biblical, which is religious. But of course, I had to name it biblical. I didn't realize it was under religious when I was posting them on whatnot, but oh well. So, a lot of the books I have today on the religious side are for people who actually like the type of books that are study guides. Because I know that's like kind of popular. I know it on YouTube it is. And so we have this one here. This is the Daily Study Bible series, and this is the Gospel of John, volume 2 by William Barclay. It's got marker on it and a little stain right there. This is from 1975. This is kind of done like almost like a devotional in little chapters. So if a person wants to learn more about the Gospel of John. Volume 2 is chapters 8 to 21. I don't have volume 1 to go with volume 2. The Gospel of John, says Dr. Barclay, is an amazing book. It can be read aloud without commentary at all. But the more we study John, the more wealth arises out of it. There is many a phrase in John whose greatness a man will not exhaust in a lifetime, let alone in a single day. In this volume, Dr. Barclay completes the intense study begun in the Gospel of John, Volume 1, His commentary brings to the reader a sharpened perception of the meaning of the gospel in a new and personal way. So that's pretty much what this one's about. My favorite book of the Bible is Job, but that's just me. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, that it could be a Wi-Fi thing, because I know when Trevor was live and he was doing his cell last night, he kept it was like freezing, and then it would hurry up and skip real fast. So, hey, comics and stuff, and J Robin Net. But yeah, it was crazy because he don't sit still. He's real active. He's a younger guy, and he sells on here. He's only like 26, but he's physical fit, and he moves a lot in front of the camera, and he kept sticking, and we kept telling him, but it was just really weird. But if anybody is interested, I try to um, promote him. I don't have the @ symbol in front of it because I don't want him to think I'm tagging him. But he goes by Designer Unlimited. He owns the company, and he has a bunch of friends. Jared does Designer Unlimited Mystery, and I don't know how they're going to do this without the gumball machines because they're what's taking them away. But anyway, it's another story. But they're fun to hang out with whenever they're on. I mean, if somebody's like packing orders, or if you're tired and you need to stay awake when you're cleaning or whatever, I'm telling you, they are a blast to just listen to and hang out with. They're just fun people. Okay, so the next book I have, and some of the people that come in this stream, oh my gosh, his stream is hysterical to read too. After God's Heart, a Bible study for women on loving and obeying God from 1 Samuel by Myrna Alexander. And this is a 2001 copyright. And this is what I said, like there's a bunch of questions as you're reading along. So if a person's interested, this looks like a brand new book. And it says, in this 13 lesson study, Bible teacher Myrna Alexander introduces us to people who grew in faith by applying their knowledge of God to their daily circumstances. We see real people, Hannah, Samuel, David, Jonathan, as they wrestle with godly principles and human temptations. They cared enough about God to follow his command and thus become living definitions of what it means to be after God's heart. The Bible reveals that God loves, but that often differs from the human being's value. Humanity praises externals and makes performances the criterion for success. God is concerned with heart attitudes, as in biblical days, the eyes of God search for the earth for people whose hearts resonate with his. So this is just a study guide if a person wants to follow along. And if you don't want to read in the book, you don't have to. You can read the questions right on notebook paper. That's what I always did to save the books. Hey, Tiki Bob. Welcome, welcome. Anything you want to see, just ask in the auction. And if it's in the buy it now, I could bring it out in the next sale, but I don't have those books right next to me. Whatnot's helping me organize. So, Cheeky! There's Cheeky Turtle! You changed your name. You got resale on there. How are you doing? I love that picture. I love your profile picture. It's so cute. Have you been doing some good sales? I miss the crafting community. I'll get back to crafting one of these days. But I got to sell off books because, yeah, COVID gave me a nice pile up. Did you ever hear my wet story I started my bookstore in the bottom of my home so I didn't have to pay lease or rent. It came to me when a friend of mine was moving and she was throwing a bunch of books away, and I wondered how many other people were doing that. So I put out an ad in two freebie papers saying, "Don't throw your books away, call me." That's how my bookstore was born 11 years ago. So this guy from Ohio said that he does a pumpkin festival. It's actually every year in Barnesville, Ohio. You can even Google it. And he said the books that didn't sell, they would recycle them. So he called me when he saw the ad, and he said, bring a tractor trailer. He wasn't kidding. Like, not a tractor trailer, but a trailer that's on the back, one of the flat thingies that's open. And he literally filled my bookstore when I first started. There's a building that he takes care of over there that was part of a railroad station, and it's now a museum. So when they have the sales, the money is the upkeep for the building and stuff. So it's really cool how we met. So every year I would do a book pickup. Well, when it got out, I kind of became a dumping ground. People were leaving albums, like vinyl records, CDs, VHS tapes, I kid you not, outside my door. And I had to stop them when COVID hit. I was getting too much. Then my roof decided to leak in the garage where I kept everything, and I was scared to death that the books were going to end up with mold. So I had to pull everything into the middle of my house. This is the story of what I went through right before COVID hit. So I moved everything to the center, and then all of a sudden, my 14-year-old water heater, my water tank downstairs decided to blow. I kid you not. It was back to back tragedy. It was here because we've only lived in the house for like 14 years, but the bottom blew out, and then I had a thing shooting out the top. It was a mess. I had water everywhere, and I just moved my books into the center. So I lost some inventory that I had to get rid of. And I was like, and then COVID hit. I told my husband, I've had it. I can't do this anymore. I was sitting there pouting because, you're trying to get a business off the ground. It takes all your time as it is anyways, because everybody knows what it's like when you run a business. It was horrible. So I finally just sat and I didn't do anything, and I became a crafter. So I started getting into junk journaling because of YouTube. And you guys know I started creating stuff because I had so much time on my hands and I had books nobody had bought. So I started turning them into journals. And that's how I became a crafter. So then when COVID was lifted, because Google shut my store down without even asking my permission. So I turned around and I just left it closed, and I turned my bookstore into a craft room. And that's how it happened. So now I'm trying to get rid of books so I have room to get back into crafting because I miss it. But it was a nightmare. Like, it was a great big story, and I've told it so many times. My YouTuber's probably sick of hearing it. Yes. Here's another one I did. Did you see my work, Cheeky? This is my biggest. It took me a year to create her. But I ran her through my art program. I put secrets inside. And of course, this will never be sold because this is just my imagination in one book. But back in 2007, 2008, I was creating animations online. I've been online too long, since AOL dial-up discs. But anyways, getting the pieces for this one was crazy because I couldn't figure out how to. I wanted to take everything I had learned and put it into a journal, but I got to the part where I was trying to figure out how to make the doors. Let me find one of the pages so I can show you. And it's the pieces. It's always the pieces. So some of these are copyrighted. That's why this will never be sold, because these pictures, I don't know. They're from Pinterest. But I ran off a door, and then I took an X-Acto knife and cut it open because I wanted to turn it into a secret message place. And I was like, and I wanted to do everything in this one. Like, I wanted to add hardware that I had never done. I wanted to do stenciling. So I wanted to just pull everything I could for myself. These are nose rings. It's so funny because I went down this rabbit hole. How do I get little doorknobs? And I was looking up, like, you know, drawers in a jewelry box, or knobs for your kitchen. Like, I'm like in Lowe's and stuff, like, what can I use? And then I went down this rabbit hole on Google and I found these, and I was like, oh my God, I would have never thought of nose rings. I don't have a nose ring, but I think that's funny. So I used a bunch of digitals, and one of the pockets, this is from a glove out of a Halloween store. Another part of this was lace I bought, but there's another, I can't remember where it's at, but there's another piece in here that's lace. It was a dress I found at the Goodwill that was lace over like silk, and I cut the lace off. I mean, nobody bought it, so I bought it, and the rest of this is just things I put together. And then I took and I found bulb clips and added little dangles. And yeah, and then this is the eyelash trim. It's like all spiky. And then this was my very first hidden signature, and I was worried about the weight, because when you do signatures, they pull on the book if you don't sew them out. So what I had to do was before I put this part on, I took a needle and thread and sewed the top here and the bottom here to hold the signature in, because I used Gorilla Glue and it didn't work. It wouldn't hold it. So I had to really think, but it took me a whole year to create this one. It took a long time, but it's so worth it. And why I went with goth, I couldn't tell you why. Goth is not really one of my signature things, but I wanted to romanticize it. So a lot of these pictures came from Pinterest. Now this picture was a digital I bought off of Etsy, but I didn't add like the skulls and things. And then the stencils, I went after that. And then this here was a picture. I found these pieces and added it through my art program because I like doing stuff like that. So I put them on her. But like, look, she's from CSI. She's definitely not legal to have, but you know what I mean? She's a copyright. But look how pretty this turned out. Oh, this was part of the dress. This came off the dress at the Goodwill. That's the pocket I was looking for. And then this is a digital, and this was off of Pinterest. But yes, she was a blast to create. How she came out of my brain, I couldn't tell you. I always think of crazy stuff. But anyways, back to books. So that's what I got into, and now I'm trying to get my books moved so I can get back to crafting because I miss it. So I actually have 4 of this one. Or no, that's the wrong one. I have 3 of this one. So if people want stuff to study with. This one here is called, I think all these books went together, but I'm selling them separate because I don't have enough of each of these to make like a pack of books. So a grouping or whatever. So this was Jesus Christ's Kingdoms Teaching by Ira and Sally Galloway. This is from 1985. And this is the introduction. The kingdom is of God, the search of the kingdom, judgment and promise, citizenship in the kingdom, marks of the kingdom, and the promise fulfilled. So these are still part, to me, like study guide types. But when I rearrange and get all my stuff back where it needs to be and get some books moved out of here, I'll be able to finish my craft room. I almost got all the paint. I'm using the money I make on here to buy the paint to paint my craft room. Hey, Cat Bowden. Welcome. There's Big Man. I wonder where you've been. And hey, Clay and CD and Allie and the people that I missed. Big's time. Big's time. Aw, thank you. Thank you for the tip. So the next one I have for the next part of the study guide, I think this was kind of in steps. It could have been like so many weeks of one, so many weeks of another. But that was the first one. This is the second one, and I only have 2 of these. This is Jesus Christ Sermon on the Mount by Jerry L. Mercer. This is another 1985. Introduction, a joyful way, a deeper way, a secret way, a restful way, a humble way, and a narrow way. And all this is biblical from 1985. See, I think they went together as sets. They might have been like a study guide for maybe like each week, but I didn't have enough to make them complete sets. So this way people come by and separate. I hope everybody had a great holiday. Ouch. If you want to see anything, feel free to let me know. If it's in the buy it now, I could bring it out for the next sale and show it to you if you want to see the condition of the books before you buy them. And then the next book I have with this set I only have 2 of those ones. And that is Jesus Christ, Baptism and Temptation. Another from 1985. This is Waiting for God, Preparing the Way, the True Light, Contest of Good and Evil, the Temptations and Victory of the Spirit. So there's this one. So are these even running? Hold on here. Sometimes my app acts up. Give me a second, I gotta refresh. I don't know why it does that. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. Now it's running. Hey, Yogi. Welcome, welcome. I remember seeing you in here before. I actually had a book under the sports category. It had called Yogi. And don't forget, if you're looking for anything special, let me know. Or any particular authors. And I can tag people in if I find them. I have a book list that people are looking for, so. Next set of books that goes with these study guides. I have 4 of these ones. And this is Jesus Christ, the Early Years by J. Michael Miller, 1985. It's the copyright. This one is the Lord is as light, the Lord in time, the place of the Lord as Messiah, the Lord as a baby, the family of the Lord. So that's what this study guide covers. And if anybody wants any of these bundled, let me know. I just don't have 4 of each. I have 2 of some, 4 of another, but I could probably bundle 2 sets at the most. And then the next set I also have 4 of. This is the Resurrection by Douglas E. Wingier from they're all from 1985, the whole set. Christ arose, Christ saves, Christ lives, Christ reigns, Christ judges, Christ will come. And that's what each section of this book is about. I don't know how many there was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was 8 books in total in this set. And then the next one is, I don't even know, I don't think I even have them in order. But I could put them in order. I have 4 of these ones. This was Holy Week and Crucifixion by Thomas A. Langford and C. Clifton Black II. This is The Entrance and Exit, One Who Serves, The Meaning of a Meal, Trials of Jesus, Death of Jesus, It is Finished. So there's those ones. If anybody's in Sunday school, they probably could use some books like these for study guides. And then there's one more left that would go with these. And we have the last one to this set. I've got 4 of these. It's Jesus Christ, Warning and Judgments by Merrill Thyssen Stackley. And this one is Jesus Job Description, Jesus Dictionary, Jesus Religious Community, Jesus in Politics, Jesus Cultural Scene, and The Last Word. And that is the last of the study guides that match the rest. So if anybody ever wants a couple sets of these, you let me know. You can message me. Alrighty, and then the last book I have in my biblical or religious section for tonight is this book here. It is a cool book. Now, I actually read this one. Doesn't have a cover, but it is The Purpose of the Driven Life, and it is a really good book. It doesn't have the jacket. And this was by Rick Warren in 2012. And it's basically, why are you here? This book is dedicated to you before you were born. God planned this moment in your life. It is no accident that you're holding this book. God longs for you to discover the life He created. He wanted you to live here on earth forever in eternity. And this is a really good book. And the content starts with, why are you here? What were planned? You were planned for God. You were formed for God's family. You were created to become like Christ. You were shaped for serving God. You were made for a mission. And it is so good. It's a journey, definitely. Especially for people, especially for someone who's down or they don't understand why they're here. Or you ever heard somebody say, I wish I wasn't born? This is like the perfect book for that person. Because it's very uplifting. We are all here for a reason. And then after this, we are back to romance again. Because I had extra romance books. And I have extra action and suspenses. And no, Dill, I'm not reading you the smut. I'm only reading you the synopsis. Naughty guys. Okay. Get off me, fly. You're irritating. So the next book I have is called Lone Star Seduction by De La Claire. This is a silhouette desire. It's got a little bit of smudging up there. It is a 2009 book. He'd been the housekeeper's son, foolish enough to fall for the boss's daughter, kicked to the curb. Alex Montoya had become a self-made millionaire with one agenda: revenge. Now he had Rebecca Huntington exactly where he wanted her, paying off her father's debts by being his housekeeper. Alex vowed he would not feel anything but cold disdain for the woman now at his mercy. But some memories were hard to erase, just as some desires were impossible to resist. So we are back with romance. Hey, Street Side and Nick Mule. Welcome, welcome. So anybody who's listening, hello, hello. Welcome to my reading channel. I wish this fly would go away, though. He's being pesty. Go away. Shoot. The next book we have this one is called The Master Player by Emma Darcy. It is a Harlequin Presents. If you like specific ones, this is the condition from 2009. He is the master in business and in love. When scandal threatens the star of his network, media baron Maximilian Hart whisks beautiful Chloe away from prying paparazzi. Where better to hide his innocent beauty than the Hart Mansion? But the handsome tycoon's plan isn't just about protecting his investment. He wants Chloe in his bed. Max might have swept her out of the fire, but Chloe finds herself in a raging inferno. Max is the master player when it comes to business and seduction. So it is romance time. Woot woot. And thanks to everybody that shared my show out. I appreciate you all. The next romance I have, this one is called Duty, Desire, and the Desert King by Harlequin Presents. Jane Porter. It's in good shape. It is a 2009 romance book. Playboy chic, unwilling wife, as the black sheep of the affairs, a powerful desert family, middle son Zaid was sworn off love and marriage. This playboy prince is happiest when cruising the casinos of Monte Carlo, but then family tragedy leaves him the heir to his kingdom's throne. Custom dictates that a waif must be seated beside him, and he's got just the bride in mind. Raul Tornell is a feisty, independent woman, and if she won't marry Zaid for duty, maybe Desire will help persuade her. So there's this one. Well, hello, BJ8844. Welcome, welcome. If there's anything you want to see, feel free to let me know. If it's in the buy it now, then I'll have to pull it out for next sale. I don't have those next to me. Hey, Casey, welcome, welcome. Look at all you people with your fur babies. I like seeing fur baby pictures. I have a pooch. So the next romance book is this one here is called Ruthless Boss, Royal Mistress, the Royal House of Cardis. This is Harlequin Presents. That's what the book looks like. It's in really good condition from 2009. Princess in training in the boardroom and the bedroom. Princess Lissa Cardis, renowned posh party girl, has packed off to Australia to learn the meaning of hard work. But billionaire James Black, her wickedly sexy boss, has different ideas. He won't be treating her any differently just because she's royal, but he is tempted to break his golden rule and bed his assistant. Lissa is dreadful at business, and when she nearly cost him his reputation, he issues her an ultimatum. She's banned from the boardroom, but welcome to take a promotion to his bedroom. Some of these romances are so funny. KCKG nurse, welcome back. KKH. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I usually leave everything in my show notes. The next romance book this actually is kind of suitable for Halloween, I guess. This is Harlequin Intrigue, Bewitching Familiar. Caroline Burns. It's a timeless love. It's got a little crack right there in the top. It's some white out in it. Just a couple places. All the pages are there though. This is a 1995. It says she was suspected of being a witch. After narrowly escaping death in 1995, Abigail West mysteriously awakened in Salem. The year is 1692. She was living someone else's life, and as a self-supporting female, she was viewed suspiciously. Even worse, in the future, she brought the last two things she needed: a black cat named Familiar and a sexy gray-eyed man. Sam Truesdale was honor bound to help prosecute witches in Salem, but he also wanted to save Abigail from the gallows. The rustle haired woman had instantly stolen his heart, but she also kept insisting Sam himself was from another century. Was Sam really from the future, or had he merely been bewitched? That sounds actually cute. Sounds like a cute romance. this one ready for next. Just going to run them. So there's that one. And then next we go to, where are you at? Where are you? I skipped you. Oh, there you are. Okay, we have a Harlequin Intrigue. This is called Inadmissible Passion by Anne Voss Peterson. Definitely was well loved and read. It's got a couple spots on it for white out. And this is from the year 2000. At least that's what it looks like. And this one is Jackson Alcott was her prime suspect's attorney and the only man Brittany Garrison had ever loved, the man who called off their engagement. She should have nothing to do with him, but when someone tried to kill her, it was Jack she turned to. Jack, whose steamy embrace and hot kisses she could never resist. Jack had left Britt to protect her. Now his secret would be revealed in the courtroom, placing her in greater danger. As opposing counsel, Jack was honor-bound to stay away from Britt, but as a man with nothing more to lose, he'd break all the rules to save her and win her back. So that is the next one. Welcome in people on my YouTube channel too. And then next after this one, fly, go away. Pesky, pesky flies, I tell you. Okay. This one here is The Italian's Ruthless Marriage Command by Helen Bianchon. Harlequin presents. This is a 2009. It's got a little bit of spottage back on the back of it. Taylor Addison had just come face to face with a man with whom she must share custody of her orphan nephew, the infamously arrogant Dante D'Alessandri, and he won't let Taylor out of his sight. At first, Dante sees Taylor as just a nanny, but soon he realizes this rape young beauty could fill another more pleasurable role in the bedroom. The ruthless Italian wants to see how far Taylor will go to keep caring for her little nephew. And Dante is going to raise the stakes. So we're going to run this. And while we're doing so, I'm going to grab a wet one over here because I'm wondering if this will come off. So hold on a second. That's some alcohol spray. Ha. See, I clean these books too. Sometimes alcohol spray does just a little better. Looks like it could have been marked from a sticker. Yeah, that cleaned that off better. I try to clean up my books as best I can. Interesting, because it did work. Sticker residue. Okay, so down from there we have the next one, which is a Harlequin Super Romance. This is The Daughter Merger by Janice K. Johnson. This is a 2000 book. It's in good condition. The terrible twos are nothing compared to the traumatic teens. David Whitcomb is a good father, and once upon a time, his 13-year-old daughter Claire adored him, but times have changed, and Claire seemed intent on running away to live with her mother, a woman who's unable to look after her. In desperation, David turns to Grace Blanchett, the mother of Claire's best friend. Grace agrees to foster Claire while father and daughter work things out. She knows this is what's best for Claire. She's just not sure it's what's best for her. Does she really want to play house with a man who, much as she's attracted to him, reminds her of another man, one she preferred to forget? So, there we go. There is a nice romance. Well, hello. Hi, Mike. Welcome, welcome. Mike Lissy. Is that how you say your name? Get off of me. Go fly. Go pester something else. I gotta get rid of this fly. It's been annoying me today. Get away from me. I tried to spray it earlier, but I couldn't catch it. Okay. So the next book we have, this actually has a pretty cover. This is called The Bride of Spring by Catherine Archer. And it is actually a Harlequin historical medieval. And it's from the year 2000. It's got some ink right there, but other than that, it's in good shape. Lady Rain had need of a husband, but not just any man would do. She required a man of honor to protect her young brother's inheritance, and from the moment she laid eyes upon Benedict Ainsworth of court, she knew her search was over. But her scheming had just begun. Entranced by Rain's breathtaking beauty, Benedict Baron of Brackenmore would have moved heaven and earth for the intriguing lady. Though when she tricked him to a marriage of convenience, he was determined to make her his wife in more than name only. It's got a beautiful, like really spring. I mean, it says spring, but it really does look like a pretty spring cover. So there is that. And then after this, we have one more set of action and suspense books. And then we are good. Well, hello there, folklore. So the next book we have, I don't have the whole set to this that I have found yet. But I do have the first book in the Bewitching Three Sisters Island Trilogy by Nora Roberts. And this is what it's going to spot right there. This is what the book looks like. It's from 2001. And it says, when Neil Channing arrives on charming Three Sisters Island, she believes that she finally found refuge from her abusive husband and from the terrifying life she fled so desperately 8 months ago. But even in this quiet, peaceful place, Nell never feels entirely at ease. Careful to conceal her true identity, she takes a job as a cook at a local bookstore cafe and begins to explore her feelings for the island sheriff, Zach Todd. But there is a part of herself she can never reveal to him, for she must continue to guard her secrets if she wants to keep the past at bay. One careless word, one misplaced confidence, and a new life she so carefully created could shatter completely. Just as Neil starts to wonder if she'll ever be able to break free of her fear, she realizes that the island suffers under a terrible curse, and one that can only be broken by the descendants of the three sisters, the witches who settled the island back in 1692. And now, with the help of two other strong, gifted women and the nightmares of the past haunting her every step, she must find the power to save her home, her love, and herself. So that is the first book in that trilogy. But I don't have the rest. I wish I did. Let's put these back. And the last set of books I have tonight are some more action suspense. Let's put this down here. And we will start with Tammy Hoag's Cry Wolf. She's got some good books. The pen. Okay. So this is what the book looks like. It's definitely a little aged. It's from 1996. Like I said, if I put them in pour, it's probably because I got a little discoloration, but the story is always there. I will make sure you do not have ripped pages. There is a new modern master of suspense, and her name is Tammy Hoag. In the royal parishes of Louisiana's French Triangle, young women are disappearing one by one, only to turn up on the banks of the bayou, strangled and cast aside, where they are sure to be found. But there is one trophy the killer prizes above all others, one woman who must be silenced forever. Cry Wolf. Attorney Laurel Chandler did not come back to the bayou Brox to seek justice. The one's burning obsession had destroyed her credibility, her career, her marriage, and nearly her sanity. But when a ruthless predator strikes too close to home, she's lured into a perverse game from which there may be no escape. Once before, Laurel's cries against the monstrous evil went unanswered. Who will listen now? So that is the Cry Wolf book. And like I said, if you want to see any books of the buy it now, I can bring them out in the next sale and tag a person so that they can see the condition. Because I don't have them beside me. Only the ones in auction. Next book ready. Let's see what we have next. Okay. So the next book I have is called The Gold Coast by Nelson DeMille. And there's a crease right there. But like I said, I'm a used bookstore, not a new. Looks like there's a little bit of crinkled pages right there. It's from 2008. The book's all there. And it says, "Welcome to the fabled Gold Coast that stretched on the north shore of Long Island that once held the greatest concentration of wealth and power in America. Here, two men are destined for an explosive collision. John Suter, Wall Street lawyer, holding fast to a fading aristocratic legacy, and Frank Bellarosa, the mafia Don, who seizes the peace of the state and unprepared Gold Coast like the latter-day barbarian chief, and draws Sutter, his regally beautiful wife Susan, into his violent world. Todd, from Suter's sardonic and often hilarious point of view, and laced with sexual passion and suspense. The Gold Coast is Nelson DeMille's acclaimed story of friendship, seduction, love, and betrayal." Fly. Go away. I wish I had a place water down here, but I don't. I'm gonna have to get one. You're driving me crazy. Go play in the corner. I hope a spider eats you down here. You're driving me nuts. Buzzing past my head. There's nasty spiders down here. They'll get you. Okay. The next book is, oh, another Tammy Hogue. This one is Dark Horse. Definitely has some discoloration. It is from 2002. Ex-cop Alina Estes once worked for the narcotics division in Florida until she took one risk too many. Her life shattered. She lives in a self-imposed exile where no one can reach her. But that's about to change when a 12-year-old girl asked Edna to find her older sister. The wealthy Palm Beach horsey set into which Aaron Seabright has disappeared is a long way from a cop's world, but it's even more dangerous. Alina will need all her street smarts to survive the shadow side of the glamorous sport. Here, a killer will lead Estes down a twisted trail of decadence and deceit and murder, a race against time and evil, a race in which Estes is once again the dark horse, where more than just her own life is at stake, and no one is betting on her to win. So that's the next Tammy Hogue. Her books look interesting too. I don't think I ever read one of her books. Hmm. Then we have this one. Okay, so the next action suspense. This has got a little tear on the top. It's called The Fourth Victim by Jan Coffey. It's got a little writing, a little bit of discoloration. It's from 2004. Oh, she's pretty. It's a husband and wife team. Nice. Someone is completing the process of ushering the last of Reverend Butler's chosen disciples into the next world. He has claimed 3 of his final victims, and only Kelly Stone remains, a survivor of the Butler Divinity Mission cult suicide. Kelly grew up safely in the arms of an adopted family, her identity concealed from public record. Now the owner of New Hampshire Inn and the single mother of a 3-year-old daughter, Kelly is content in her life. But the past is closing in on her, and time there is nowhere to run. Ian Campbell's determined cop with a personal ties to the New Mexico tragedy will risk everything to keep Kelly alive, but it all comes down to the daring game of courage and confrontation to finally decide the fate of the 4th victim. Interesting. Then we have another Tammy Hogue. I didn't realize I had that many in her same set. Interesting. It's got a mark on the back of it too. Alrighty. So the next book we have is Guilty Sin by Tammy Hogue. Boy, that is pretty. It almost looks like a rose gold color. Okay, so it's got some discoloration to this one too. From 1997. It's got a little mark in the top right there. And it's got looks like a mark down the back. A cold-blooded kidnapper has been playing a twisted game with terrified Minnesota town. Now a respected member of the community stands accused of a chilling act of evil, but when a second boy disappears, a frightened public demands to know, have the police caught the wrong man? Is the nightmare continuing or just beginning? Prosecutor Ellen North believes she's building a case against a guilty man and that he has an accomplice in the shadows. As she prepares for the trial of her career, Ellen suddenly finds herself swept into a cruel contest of twisted wits, a dark game of life and death, and an evil mind as guilty as sin. So there is this one. Thought I had it pinned. There we go. And then we have this one. Oh, these are the last of them. So there's this one here. Alrighty. So the next one we have is this one here is called Gold Mine. And it has a little bend in it. Definitely well loved. It's got some ink, some discoloration. It's from 1982. And it says, a motherlode of high adventure. The Sonder Ditch, it was the most valuable gold mine in the world. To the men who owned it and worked it, it was a passport to a glittering future or a ticket to death for their women. It was the ultimate turn on as they gave themselves for love or for money. Now the darkest forces of man and the most violent fury of nature are coming together to turn a golden dream into a shattered nightmare under gold mine. Blockbuster adventure by the best-selling author of The Delta Decision. Sounds interesting. Hey, Ned. NID, NID. Go away. You're annoying me. Let's make him kill this fly. He's driving me crazy. Hey, Beard Man. And then the next book we have. This reminds me of a movie I seen once with all these birds. This is Minion G. Ebert wrote Witness at Large, a frightened young girl caught in a game of hide and seek and kill. It's a little white dot up there. This is from 1966. An unseen murderer is among us. Terror walks the fog-shrouded island. The pretty girl called Sister knows the violent murder has been done and will be done again. Who is the unseen killer? Can it possibly be Tom, the man she has loved in secret for so long? And what about the strange behavior of Boyd, who has been like a brother? As she wonders, the long shadow of the murders move forward to strike once more. It keeps you guessing till the end. Interesting. I like these kind of books. The whodunits. Oh, I gotta stretch my foot out. We got 3 more books, so if you want to go to sleep, I'll put you there. Hey, CDC. Yes, I will see you, CDC. I always see everything people types. Okay, the next book we have after this one, and anybody comes back and watches this later, this one here is called Speaking in Tongues by Jeffrey Deaver. This is what the book looks like. It is from the year 2000. It's got a little bend on the back here. Aaron Matthews is a man with a gift. He can talk anyone into doing almost anything. As a psychologist, he used that talent to help people. Now he's using it against one man in a deadly scheme of revenge. With former trial lawyer Tate Collier as his target, the brilliant, ruthless Matthews knows the easiest way to destroy his adversary is to strike at the moment at least resistance, which for Collier is his teenage daughter Megan. In this spine-tingling novel of psychological manipulation, best-selling author Jeffrey Deaver creates a thrilling battle of words and wits that will leave you speechless. So there is this one. Hey, Team Rockets. Hey, Barwinkle. Hey, Lord Jupiter. Welcome, welcome. Everything's under action and suspense. That's where all my sci-fi, horror, fantasy, military, whodunits are all under action and suspense. You're welcome. If you know your authors, you can type those in. That's how some of my sci-fi people find the sci-fi. I just put everything that puts you on the edge of your seat under there. So this is the next action and suspense book. This one is called Silent Sun by Gallatin Warfield. I think that's how you pronounce his name. But it is definitely has a little bit of discoloring to it. Like I said, you will always get the book with no ripped pages, but I'm a used bookstore, so. From 1994, it's got a bend in the back. Definitely well loved. The savage, senseless shooting of two elderly shopkeepers shocks neighbors and police, yet no one is more shaken than County Prosecutor Gardner Lawson, for the state's sole witness is his 8-year-old son, so traumatized is the boy that he remembers nothing. Then a town bully is spotted near the crime scene. He responds suspiciously under questioning, and Gardner is positive the state has found its man. Then he digs deeper and starts to unearth a tangled trail of lies leading to the unspeakable secret. Soon Gardner must try to help his child face the nightmarish truth as he himself is torn between his thirst for justice and his primal parental drive to protect his boy, and as the killer roams dangerously free. If anybody is looking for books that are really intense, like on the edge of your seat, in my opinion, there was two that I read that I absolutely loved. And one was Intensity by Dean Koontz. And the other one's The Last Victim. I think it was by Michael Douglas. Michael, not the actor, a different Michael Douglas. So good. Those books were so good. Hey, Books and Bricks and Billy Dugan. I have to say those were two of my favorites, especially Intensity. Whew. And then this book here, I haven't read this one, but this one looks like a good one. It's by Harlan Coben, Tell No One. Suspense at its finest. It's definitely discolored. I don't know if it's from a smoker or just aged. From 2006, see the discoloration. And I do put, I mean, you get all the pages. I make sure the pages aren't ripped, but these are ones I usually list as poor because of that reason. It says, for Dr. Beck, the loss was shattering, and every day for the past 8 years, he has relived the horror of what happened, the gleaming lake, the pale moonlight, the piercing screams, the night his wife was taken, the last time he saw her alive. Everyone tells him it's time to move on, to forget the past once and for all, but for David Beck, there can be no closure. A message has appeared on his computer, a phrase only he and his dead wife know. Suddenly, Beck is taunted with the impossible, that somewhere, somehow, his wife is alive and he's been warned to tell no one. Non-stop action with plot twist galore. Interesting. But if you ever want to see a book that I have in the Buy It Now, all you have to do is give me a list, shoot me a message, and I could bring it out for the next sale if you want to see the conditions. Because I know as a book buyer, I'm that way. I want to see what I'm getting. As long as the pages aren't ripped, I'm good. Because I've actually had that happen. Get to a middle book and be pages missing. So I go through all the books before I sell them to make sure that doesn't happen to my people. And that was that book. So in the action suspense, there was Tell No One, Silent Sun, Speaking in Tongues. This one here looks good, even though it's from 1966. Witness at Large, Gold Mine, Guilty Sin, Fourth Victim. And then we have Dark Horse, Gold Coast, and Cry Wolf. Hey Kerbeck, hey Freya Bell. Everything in the auction is beside me. Anything from my bin is in the other room. And I did bring out a book somebody requested from my one show, but I forgot to write the person's name down. And this one was, because you know, people are into doing it yourself. And I wish I could remember who requested this, but it's boat building with plywood. Because I know there's a lot of people wanting to do stuff. And it's a bigger book. It's a hardback, but it shows you the measurements on how to. So, and there's picture diagrams. Somebody wanted to see this, but they never came back. So, just so you know, whoever you were, it's here. I left it beside me for a few shows in case the person wanted to see it. I just wish I would have wrote their name down. I thought I did. But if you have any requests of favorite authors or anything, I rate it right here. That's why I was surprised I didn't have her name here. But I couldn't find it because I had some requested people. And I always check this before I start my show. For some reason, I missed that person's name. So that's it. So anyways, I think I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. I want to thank everybody that stopped by. Thank everybody for the tips. Everybody that just wanted to see what I had. I want to thank my YouTube friends, too, for stopping by and saying hello. So I will see you all next Wednesday. So I'll see you soon. Bye. And don't forget, all my books will be live so you can shop when I'm not here too. Just check out the store part on my profile.